Yo, what up? What up, though? What's the what show? We in the house. I got Jesse out here in the house. What's up, Jay?
What up, though?
Yeah, we back in here. Took 2 weeks off. Had the little one. He made it into the world real safe. Everything is good with that. So, Jay, man, we're gonna get right into it, man, so we can get this over with. Like I said, since I got the little one into the world, of course I'm sleepy in the mug. So I'll try to get this one done real quick and everything like that. I'm just trying to set something up real quick. Yeah, Jay, so
Yeah, can you hear me?
share this business real quick. I always try to do one business, at least one business every show. I normally do about 3 or 4, but we're just gonna do this one today. Good People Popcorn out of Detroit, Michigan. Black owned. Go order your popcorn from them. Is Garrett's black owned?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I ain't think so either. So here we go. We can get some black owned popcorn. 1 gallon of caramel cheese mixed popcorn is $29. I'm quite sure. How much is Garrett's? Garrett's about the same, right?
No, it's 2 arms and 3 legs.
It was 2 arms and 3 legs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
and your firstborn.
Support your black folks. Good People Popcorn. Shop.goodpeoplepopcorn.com. Go there and do that for us. Hit them up if you're a popcorn eater like I am. Jay, you eat popcorn, man?
Not like that. Now, when you cook that boy on the stove like you be doing, it might make you want to have something,
Yeah. See, I do it on the stove like you're supposed to. I don't know what these other cats be doing, but I do it on the stove like it's supposed to be done. So, hey, man, we're gonna get right into it, man. So, look, today's topic is basically how we supposed to protest, man. What's the right way to protest? We all know about Colin Kaepernick. He sat down and he got all the flack in the world for sitting down for the national anthem. A lot of people made it about the flag. He never really said anything about the flag. He just said the national anthem. I mean, I know the national anthem is about the flag, but still, he never really said anything about the flag. So I'm trying to figure out why that became the topic when the real topic is the senseless police murders of unarmed Black individuals, men and women. So, hey man, what you think about Colin Kaepernick and what he did? We ain't talked about it since it happened. So, what you think about that?
Man, I think that. I mean, like I said, I don't know what form of protest is acceptable. I mean, I think he was in his own rights to go forth and say, I don't want to stand for it. I'm not standing. I mean, because really, what does this stand for? I mean, I'm with him. I can't tell you the last time I actually stood for the Pledge of Allegiance, the flag, or any of that stuff. I'm like, I don't do all that. And I mean, I teach, so I just sit there. The kids don't realize what I'm doing, but hey, I know what I'm doing because I just can't do it myself. Just ain't who I am.
Now, see, I can remember the last time I stood up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I know a lot of people, they be like, yeah, I ain't never done it in all my years. I can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
I used to stand up, sing it, the Star Spangled Banner and everything. But the last time that I remember doing it was when Michael was wrestling. So Michael was about 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was wrestling, and we was in there, and I remember seeing all these folks stand up, and they was just so proud of the flag. And I wasn't in there with nothing, but for the most part, it was mostly all white people. A few black people in there who had their kids in there wrestling, but for the most part, it was black people. And I can't remember what was going on during that time, but something had just happened that was just like, I don't know, it was something that had just happened that was kind of ridiculous. And I just remember just standing there like, it was about 2010. So yeah, he was about 2010, 2011. So he was about 6 or 7. I just remember standing there like this is like, why am I even standing? This song ain't for me. That was before I knew about the three verses, the third verse or whatever. I know for me, I was like, they talking about land of the free, home of the brave, and And when they made the song, we wasn't free. So I'm like, you know, we ain't even got to go to the third verse. We could just go, we could stick it right there and be like, you know, but when we start thinking about the prison industrial complex, we start thinking about all these people that's dying in the streets by the hands of the police, and they unarmed, because no one's really getting up in arms about anybody that had a gun in their hand. We talking about unarmed people or people that had their guns and they had the right to have their guns, and they just killing these people. So you know, I stand with them. I understand that, but I'm just trying to figure it out, because you know, while this is not a protest against what I'm about to bring up now, is not a protest. We talked about it before, but we talk about it again. While this wasn't a protest against cops or anything like this, but you know, we talked about what happened at Great Faith Ministries over the last weekend, right? With New Era Detroit and going up in Great Faith Ministries, and they had just got finished doing a offering, and right at, I guess, during the offering, they asked for certain people to give $1,000. If they couldn't give $1,000, give 500 or 300. And during the offering, or right after the offering, New Era Detroit stood up and said, "All power to the people," and then it started into a big shoving match. And we had talked about it, but I want you to express, like, what did you feel about that?
Again, like I said before, I understand the message. I understand what they trying to get across. I just don't think that that was the right atmosphere and that was the right approach. I'm like, I just don't think, to me, you don't be in an uproar. I mean, because I think your message won't get across effectively if to those people. I mean, to that ministry, or to those people to come be a disruptor into that ministry. Now, to me personally, I felt that if those people had been members of that church, and you know, you had said, you know, like to your pastor, like, look, I want you to, why aren't we doing such and such in the community? I mean, you know, then that makes sense. But to go in there and disrupt as an outsider into that ministry, I think to me is ineffective. It's just, I mean, because now your message gets lost in the confusion that you cause. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
I got you. Now, see, when I when I watched the tape of the vice president of New Era Detroit talk about, you know, basically talking about what why they did it and everything like that. There was a young lady that called in. I'm assuming she was a member of Great Faith, or she was there that day. Don't know if she was a member or whatever it was, but she said to him, she was like, you know, if somebody came to your house acting a fool, you would put them out. And he said and his answer to her was, well, that's, you know, basically that's not his house. That's not y'all. That's supposed to be a public place. And since it's a public place, we came in there to do, you know, we came there as public citizens or whatever. It was a bunch of guys. Most of the people that called did not agree with the way that they did it. I think, like I told you, I had no problem with the way that they did it. My only problem with it was I don't know the whole background. And from my understanding, they either had, from what it sounded like he was saying to me on the when he was on the radio show, was that they had reached out to Great Faith, but Great Faith hadn't got back with them. So they decided to take it to the next step. Now, like I said, I know for a fact, because I watched the tapes of them do it, that when they did it with Triumph Church, which is in Detroit, that they talked to Triumph. You know, they went in the neighborhood, went door to door in the neighborhood. They were like, look, what is Triumph doing? They in your neighborhood, and most people was like, nothing. And so they went in, they talked to the pastor of Triumph, and from my understanding, they came to an understanding with the pastor of Triumph, and Triumph started doing more in the neighborhoods that they were in. But with that being said, I'm assuming it just wasn't enough for them with Great Faith, especially after they had Donald Trump there. And I think that just added to the fire, because there was a lot of protests going on the day Trump was there. And a lot of people had something to say about that. So again, man, so like we said, we already talked about Collins sitting. But I mean, even if you march, people have something to say about that nowadays.
Yeah.
So,
But again, like I said, with and then my other issue with New Era's approach. Like I said, the spirit behind it I agree with, but the approach, because to me, like, okay, for if I'm, you got to know what is that church's, and that's the part where being coming from as an outsider, if that church's vision isn't to be a community church, what are you hold? You're really not holding them accountable. You hold them accountable to your standards. I mean, a better thing would have been to tell the people in the community that this might not be a place you want to frequent because the way they're lined up is not to help you as a community, rather than going them to force them to try to make them to bend to who you are. Because I mean, it's like if for me to go into to New Era Detroit people and tell them everything y'all doing is wrong, and they're gonna look at me like, yeah, okay, whatever, because I don't know their vision, but I'm gonna tell them what I think they should be doing. And
I got you.
that's why I said that I'm like, I think is air. It will get lost in the, I don't know.
I got you. Like I said, I had no problem with what they did in the sense of them doing it and them standing up for what they believed in. I had no problem with that. Again, I do think they probably should have tried to sit down with the pastor first. Before they did that, like I said, I don't know what they did when it comes to that. I'm just going by what I think they did based on what I saw them do with Triumph. But what I will say this is just, what I will say is this, is that I don't know if they was thinking they was going to change that church anyway. I'm starting to think at this point that they went in there to kind of cause a little bit of upstir to kind of catch the attention of those guys that catch the attention of those guys that are in question that might have been at the church. And I think really to catch the attention of the rest of the community around, that somebody is standing up for them. Because really, we all know, from going to church, that once you have a certain belief, you're not going to change it. You're going to do that. That's most times that's where you at. If you at that church, you believe everything that they say and everything that they do. You believe in it, and no one can come in there and change you. So, I think they know that. I think for some reason, in my head, I just feel like it was really to cause a kind of to be an agitator a little bit. Just nothing. I don't think they wanted to turn out any violence or anything like that. But I do think that they wanted to stir up cause a little stir. Because the one thing he did say, it was one guy that said something about they could have passed out flyers, but I mean, let's just go back in the past. Malcolm X used to do that as a Muslim. He used to go outside the Christian churches and pass out flyers. And if you look at all the accounts of back in the day, a lot of them said that was wrong. So what you think? You think they should have went out there and passed out flyers?
I mean, it's more effective way than going into somebody. To me, I'm like, it's disrespectful. I personally don't agree with it. I mean, it's
So do you
disrespectful
think?
to go into another man's house. I mean, and you don't, and again, you still talking. I mean, with the people in New Era, a lot of them cats don't even subscribe to Christianity. So now you going into somebody else's religion and somebody else's, disrespectful. I'm like,
So do
that's
you
why.
think? So in
That's
that
the
sense,
only why I said it would have been
that's
better.
disrespectful. When you say that's disrespectful in that sense, you think? Do you think if they would have been standing out the church? Because I just feel like even if they would have stood outside the church, some people would have said that was disrespectful.
But it's, to me, again, now outside the church, that's public ground. I mean, if you get fair, I'm like, you just fair distance. You get a fair distance. You speak your word, whatever. But it's not. It's not. I don't know. I don't know. And
No, I'm just saying because I just, for me, it's like, okay, I mean, I get it. I get you saying. I get them saying it's disrespectful. But I wonder sometimes, are we doing that from a traditional point of view? I know traditionally, coming from a Christian church point of view, coming from ministry school point of view, that in my head, when I first saw it, I was like, ooh, this is this ain't what you're supposed to do. But after I watched it a couple times and just had to sit down and think about it, I was like, it ain't what you're supposed to do, but what you're supposed to do don't seem to work.
But is it?
What somebody say?
But it goes back. What was your and I think that's the part where we don't know as like outsiders from their organization.
We don't know from not being in
I don't know what their true purpose is. Is your purpose really to try to, bring the light that you try to make this ministry or shift the hand of this ministry to do something different? Or is your purpose just to be a disruptor of what you think is wrong or the norms of what you think is the wrong? If your purpose is just to be a disruptor, yeah, they did it. They was effective at it. Now, if you're talking about your purpose is trying to help this ministry to see something different, I don't think that's gonna work. That now again, like from what I heard, like they supposed to be going down there and protesting at doing something at that one restaurant in Detroit.
Bookies, right?
Yeah. Now, yeah, you go out there and you go out there and don't buy nothing and you march around. I mean, you tell people around that walk in there, but I bet they ain't gonna go into boogies and just go start throwing stuff. Cause the police will come in and arrest them.
That's true, but they didn't necessarily go in. They didn't go in great grace and start throwing stuff either.
I mean, they went in there throwing. I mean, I don't know.
All they did was went in there and said, "All power to the people." That's all they did. They didn't start throwing stuff. Now the congregation or the main people in the congregation, we used to call them MODs. I don't know what they call them over there, but they they threw them out, but they didn't necessarily start throwing stuff or anything like that. They left peacefully too, as far as I know. I mean, they made them leave, but as far as I could see, they left. They didn't put up a fight to leave. They left. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what was in their head. I don't know if it was just like we're gonna go over here and we're gonna stir up some mess. I don't know.
I don't know, and I can't go say if it was a good thing or if it's bad because I don't know what their motive is. I mean, I don't know, but I give them guys the credit for trying to make a change in Detroit. Like some of the stuff you told me about them, going into the hood, telling getting the dope dealers off the corner. Yeah, I'll give you mad credit for that. But again, continue doing that stuff that that people don't see, and it makes you a better organization. And don't try to look for the spotlight all the time, but do the stuff and everybody gonna give you credit for.
I got you. Now, the only reason I really brought that up was because I want to kind of juxtapose it to how people say, Black Lives Matter or even with New Era and all the different things they're doing in all the different cities they are in, people will say like New Era, they don't necessarily protest. They do go out and they kind of march, but they don't really call it a protest more than they call it a something to let the community know that they're there. And all their marches, they're not downgrading the police. They're not they're not talking, they're not saying fuck the police or nothing like that. And all their marches, basically, they are saying, I love Black people. More power to the people. All power to the people. That's basically what they're saying. So with that, when it comes to that, now again, if I was in Detroit, I would be with New Era Detroit. So most likely, I'm probably going to try to. Once I see what's going on down here, I'm going to most likely join up with them down here. I can't say that I would have been at the church with them that day, but I don't know. I mean, again, I wasn't in on that meeting, so I don't know exactly what was in their mind or what the mind frame was or what was the intention, what were they trying to do. I don't know if maybe they thought if they got there and they said what they had to say, maybe the people would listen to them and they would be able to talk to the bishop. I don't know. I don't know what they thought, but it definitely didn't end out well. But juxtaposing that to the way Black Lives Matter go out and they do their thing, like why you think, because when they go out and when Black Lives Matter go out and do their thing, people say the same thing. It's disrespectful. They being disrespectful to police. They being disrespectful, to this and they doing this or what I'm saying. So like, why do you think that they say that? You hear me?
Um, I think that what happens is they looking at them. I mean, it's the twisting of the narrative. They want to. I mean, because it's the picture that you want to paint, so it's easier. There always has to be, especially in Western society, everything has to be a villain and a hero, and so um, they have to paint somebody as the villain, and so it's easy to make them guys look like the villain. So I'm gonna vilify whatever you do because again, the hero is the police, the villain is the person who speaks. I mean, because again, when you look at Black Lives Matter, not one thing that when those guys are protesting is saying, we hate police, except you unless you get some of them little off kilter people. Most of them, I mean, the whole root of the movement was, that we are people too. That we have a voice, but you have to have a hero and a villain. So if the police are the hero, the villain has to be, the people protesting, the Black Lives Matter.
Got you. So you basically we got the hero syndrome here in
Yeah.
society that we always talking about. It's always got to be somebody. Somebody has to be the villain. Somebody has to be the hero.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it plays out in America, for the most part, most Black people see us as the or Black Lives Matter or anybody that's protesting to get for change. They see them as the hero, and they see the police as the villain. And then for most white people or Black people that are cool with the status quo, they see the police as the hero and Black Lives Matter as the villain. But I mean, on the real, Jesse, like the main question is, what is the right way to riot? What's the right way, not riot, but what's the right way to protest? What would be in your mind? What would you do?
Me personally, I think the only thing that affect anybody is the one thing that like nobody ever want to. I mean, we never want to go. We always say we're gonna do it, but we don't do it. If the only thing that hurt people is their money. So if people could ever get in like target like a business or say we not doing this on this day, we not shopping in this. Because think about we grew up in Detroit. Think about in the 90s, in the 80s, when black people put a boycott on Dearborn because the treatment of us, and we really stopped going there. And then you saw the change in Dearborn. You saw Fairlane being a little bit, you know what I mean. You start seeing a couple more black businesses out there. You start seeing that the atmosphere changed because they knew, if you touch my money, I'm gonna start listening to you.
That's true.
We go in history. Look at the Montgomery bus boycott. That's what the only reason why they changed it wasn't because black folks was marching. It's because black folks decided not using them buses, and them bus company wasn't making no money. So I think if black people or people of color or even just people who don't have no money start realizing what little you have, the power of what little you have, and how to use it right, you know.
Got you. So let me ask you this, Jay, because you know how I feel sometimes. Like, okay, boycott is cool. It's all good, but most times these businesses go out of business and they just start up as a whole nother business. They don't even care a lot of times whether they get boycotted or whatever. And even when we boycotted Black Friday, most of us still went out and
Right.
bought
That's what
stuff
I'm
for
saying.
Christmas anyway. You boycotted Black Friday, but you still bought so much stuff for Christmas. Black Friday is the first day of that holiday spend. Is the first major day of that holiday spending season. But they don't make it just off Black Friday. They make it off that whole spending. So black people, to boycott Black Friday, really black people have to boycott buying stuff for Christmas, except for the essentials. And in order for that to mean something, it can't. You basically got to tell your kids, look, we got to give up Christmas this year so that we can make a difference. And most black people ain't gonna do that. That's just what it is. You know me. I Christmas is whatever. I mean, it's to me, it's not a it's whatever. That's not a holiday that most of the holidays that we celebrate as holidays we shouldn't be celebrating as black people anyway. But most, it's just at the end of the day, black people just not gonna do that. They just
Yeah.
not. So the way I look at it, I always say integration was the best and worst thing that could have happened to black people because we were happy to get those jobs. We were happy to be able to go to those white businesses. but we, for the most part, gave up on our own businesses. And so after that, after integration, you know, that you saw the decline in you saw the decline in Black business, you saw the decline in the Black community, then you saw the decline in the Black family. It just, you know, it's like integration really just for the, you know, I get wanting to be equal, but maybe joining up and doing all the stuff that we do and trying to go to school with them and all that might not have been what we needed. Or we might not have just been ready for that, or we thought we were, but we just wasn't, because our infrastructures were not built up enough to where we could actually do the things that we needed to do within that. But I mean, still, so you're saying boycotting would be the best way to protest, right? So what would be the best way in your mindset to put a boycott together? Because for whatever reason, we seem to can't get a boycott together. Now,
Yeah, my boy put up this one status earlier I was looking at, and he was talking about he talked about that concept of boycotting, like we'll say, you know, boycotting Black Friday, or don't buy fast food, or don't, and those things really don't work because it's so broad. But if you target, you have to make sure if you're gonna do a like a, you know, we not shopping here, we not gonna spend our money here. It has to be you centered around one thing, you know that people ain't gonna do. You know, you try to, and you have to show it, and that's how you make it. Like if you, okay, let's say we in Atlanta. A perfect example. Here go a good one that, and I guarantee you it's gonna close that business down. The one in Detroit right now, where everybody, you know, the big push to boycott that Rolling restaurant where dudes put up that racist stuff. I guarantee you it's gonna kill that dude. His business is gonna be done in less than if Black people or people of color that, or people that's outraged stick to their guns and don't shop there for a whole month, he closed down. He can't survive.
Now,
He's not gonna survive.
I get you, but I just don't think they're gonna do it when it comes to that. I know New Era gonna go down there and protest, but I think it's a lot of Black people that's gonna still go, because that dude that put that out was the co-owner. The owner actually put a statement out saying that, you know, he was sorry and that's not how he feel. That was that guy's personal remarks. Blah 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 blah. So the other co-owner did that. My whole thing with that is this: I don't care what the other guy said, unless you give him his money back and put him out the business, you shouldn't get our business. Because even if you saying that's not you, if you willing to stand with him in business, then you don't need our business.
Right.
But most of us are not gonna do that. It's gonna be, I guarantee you, it's gonna be Black folks gonna be like, look, I like that. Whatever it is they like in there, I like it, so I'm going. And fuck all that, because that's just how we act. You know, it's like I don't care if they said that. I'm gonna spend my money where I want to spend my money at. You know, we just happy with doing that type of stuff. So, I mean, I get what you're saying and everything like that, man. But you know, it's got to be. We got to at some point fall in love with us as a people. We have to fall back in love with our people. I wrote a blog yesterday about brotherly love, basically talking about loving Black men, loving Black men. You know, no homo shit, but Black men loving Black men. Be able to say, hey, bro, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, being able to go up and show that dude some love, because, I mean, no one else is. I mean, even some of our women don't love us. And so it's like we got to find a way to start loving each other and helping each other, so that we, you know, when you see one brother falling, you know, you got to find a way, you know, to try to check on him, make sure he's all right. Because, you know, when that one man fall, that's a family that's about to fall. And when that family fall, you got boys and girls in that family. That's a whole other generation of Black people that's just gonna be going through hell again and doing crazy stuff because we won't. Because like I said, no one else is gonna show us love if we not willing to show our own love. So, you know, that's just where I stand with that. So we got to start showing each other love. That's the first thing before we even worry about protesting anymore. We got to start showing each other more love. You know, if we loved one another, we wouldn't be I mean, I ain't trying to make it no black on black crime thing because you know that's something altogether different. But if we love one another, we wouldn't be in the streets worrying about killing somebody because they stepped on our shoe
Right,
or because they talked to my girl the wrong way. You know, we wouldn't even talk to your girl the wrong way if we actually loved one another. You know, so we gotta, you know, I get Black lives do matter, and I get when people be like, well, Black lives don't matter to Black people, but you know, at the end of the day, it ain't that Black lives don't matter to Black people. It's just that somewhere along the line we've lost how to love one another, and we got to get that back.
agreed.
Got to get that back.
Agreed.
Yep, got to get that back. Hey man, look, I just, you know,
I'm sitting there, I'm listening to you, but I'm sitting there watching on news right now about the protest down in Charlotte.
North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm like, so it's like why they kill. I mean, you know, it's like we get killed in groups of threes. It's like remember the old day they used to be like black folks that they be like people gonna die in threes. You had 2 celebrities in that, so now it's black folks get publicly getting murdered in threes.
You know, so, and you know, some people can, you know, the conspiracy theorists would say that's an agenda, and whether it's an agenda or not, sometimes it do seem as though, like you said, it seemed as though when we remember when Jesse Williams spoke out, right after he spoke out, like the week after that, it was Alton Sterling and Philando Castile.
Yep, if not a week, right after it was less than a month.
If it wasn't a week, it was like right after. It was right around July the 4th. That ain't even been 3 months now, or it's just been 3 months, right? About 2 months, 2 or 3 months. And now you get Colin Kaepernick doing what he doing, and it's almost like, okay, we gonna show you niggas. And I you know, I try not on this show not to really do the conspiracy theory type stuff, even though I think I'm gonna do a show about conspiracy theory one day. We're gonna go delve deep into some conspiracy theories. Huh?
Yesterday, Jessica asked, was it a shooting in Charlotte? A dude was sitting in the car waiting on his son, reading and he fell asleep he fell asleep in his car. He was sitting in the car waiting on his kid, and the cop pulled up and shot him or something. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, well, the cop. This is the way it went. The cop shot him. Supposedly, the cop thought he had a gun, and supposedly the witnesses say he was sitting there with his book. He had a book, and he was waiting on his kid to come out of school.
Yeah, sitting with a book, and he thought. Did you hear the other one about the kid, the little black kid who got shot carrying a saxophone?
He thought he had a machine gun.
Yeah, talking about saxophone's machine gun.
But they didn't kill him though, right? They just shot him, right?
They just shot him. I don't know. I saw what's name put it up.
Better. But
the light skinned dude, what's that light skinned dude who be posting all the stuff?
Sean King.
Yeah.
Sean King, you know, he keep you up on the up and up. He let you know what's going on. But yeah, I saw that yesterday. I didn't know who posted it, but I saw that they thought he had a machine. Talking about they thought he had a machine gun. I'm like, come on, dude. What kind of machine gun still built like that? That's a Untouchables Frank Nettie type machine gun.
They've been watching what was that movie? The one with Antonio Banderas when he had the guns in the suitcase like had some old Desperado stuff. And I'm like, come on, dude.
That bullshit, man.
Because I'm like, if that go, I'm like, well, I don't know. They might have guns up in their cases. I'm like, well, I work at shooter. I'm like, all I see is band instruments up and down the hall. I better jump for color. I'm like, oh, help me.
Don't get shot by one of the machine guns. Them kids.
Shoot me.
Well, you know, you work out there. They might go crazy because Sally might not want to take Tommy to the dance.
Right.
So you watch yourself. You might need to start taking you a gun out there.
Man, I got the wrong job. 20 years ago, I should have been a lawyer. I could have been Trayvon Martin's lawyer because he on every case now. He getting mad money. He out there in Tulsa now.
Losing. I mean, when you can say he might not, he really ain't losing because the family do get every time the family gets some money. That's how you know they wrong because the family get money every time. Every time somebody get killed, the family gets some type of money. Sandra Bland mom just got what 1.9 million.
Hey, it almost reminds you of he like the new Jeffrey Feiger. Remember, Fire used to in Detroit used to be at everything. It's fire time. I was like,
Fire
man, let
time.
anything happen to me, Jeffrey Fire. You better
Fire,
speak, dog.
man. Fire pimped off the black community, man.
Right.
We loved him. He was the white black lawyer.
Cause he was he went when let me go back. What was the dude with the Jerry Curl back in the day, back '93, who got killed right after Rodney King?
Malice Green.
Yup,
Malice Green.
when Malice Green got killed, and then I remember when they boycotted Dearborn back in like what was that, like 2000, when that dude got shot
At Fairlane.
at Fairlane. Yup, he was there with that one.
Yep. Yeah,
Like,
Fire was on all. I wonder what he's doing now.
just sitting back on the island. He's sitting on the island, chilling somewhere. I wish I was in his wheel somewhere.
You stupid.
Oh,
wish
man.
We go somewhere. Hey, man, look. Hey, I appreciate you coming on tonight, man. Look,
no problem.
We got to figure out some. Hey, we got to get together and figure out some ways to do some things. Because I'm gonna say this, and it's just how I feel. Protesting is not working. Marching is not working, and trying to change the system from within is not working. It's almost like we need to figure out a way to withdraw ourselves. We are, like I think I said this before. We got to figure out a way to be of the world, or be in the world, but not of it.
But I think why all them things don't work, because we'll never really do them. Nope. We have do it. Like a protest will last right when it's first happened.
That's true.
We won't never financially take our money out of it. We won't boycott for it, but for a minute, you don't do none of that.
But it's hard to boycott anything when you don't have your own infrastructures.
Right.
When you know what I'm saying? So look, if we had a major department store,
I've been boycotting Taco Bell for a year. Cause they they tore up my stomach. They tore my stomach up, and they will never get no money.
They tell your stomach up. but I'm on the real, like I mean, you could say that boycotting, if you don't have an infrastructure, let's say like, okay, you're gonna boycott Target, but you still gonna go to Walmart.
Yep, and it's the exact same thing you're doing. You ain't
right back into the system.
But and then they all one of the same.
Your community, you put money back into other communities. So it's like, okay, if you have to figure out a way, we have to, over the next probably 20 to 50 years. That's the problem too with black people. We don't think long term. I look, okay, I say we're going to talk about conspiracy theories, but here we go. I'm gonna bring up one conspiracy theory. 911, since it just passed.
Find something else to talk about. You can't talk about that. No.
911. You ain't gotta talk about it.
No. He can't talk about that.
Let me say this. So 911, right?
And he didn't say that. It's a tragic day in the world.
If you think, whatever, man, be quiet. If you think that 911 was a conspiracy, right? You have to believe that they planned that conspiracy out for at least 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
At least you would have to really believe that.
So he buy into the conspiracy theory. We don't buy into the conspiracy theory.
I do. He don't.
No, he don't either.
But you have to believe that it was at least 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years prior to that they started planning that. You have to believe that in order for it to even work. What I'm saying though is that we have to start planning stuff ahead of time. We can't. I remember in the 80s. When my mom used to always talk about all the people that were buying buildings down in Detroit. As the buildings were dilapidating, they just kept buying buildings down in Detroit. And now those people that was buying those buildings, they reaping the harvest off that. You know what I'm saying? Because they were willing to wait the years for Detroit to turn back around. They were willing to wait that time and wait until it was going to turn back around, because you knew it was at some point. At least downtown, you knew that was going to happen. So my thing is, we have to do the same thing. So somebody has to start saying, okay, let's start a store. You have to do like the Wendell Price, where you get a
and you got to be okay with paying more because you dealing with somebody who, because that's the
Yeah,
other thing we always want to say.
got to.
Black folks charge too much.
They charge too much
You
because they don't have the distributors,
right.
so
I'm like,
they
dude,
can't get the stuff the way that the other companies can get them. So they have to charge a little bit more. But we have to be
I don't want that black stuff. They charge too much.
because I mean it's a place here called I'm gonna promote one more black business today. There's a place here called Wings on Wheat. Wings on Wheat, man, great food, but they do charge a little bit more than me going to Wings and Burgers, which are owned by the Chinese guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I go over there with them because they the black guys, they a black business. Let me support them.
That's like my cousin right now.
And you know,
if anybody, like my cousin right now, if anybody ever want a good food, she do she sell dinners. Now I mean, if you see these dinners, you go to a restaurant, you paying a good $25-$30. She's charged like $12. Everybody
what's her
holler.
name?
Her name it's called Zar J. Let me make sure I get it right. Zar J. And she do it 2 days a week. One day she do salads. If you look, it's called Zar J. Zar
It's in
J.
Detroit, right?
She in
It's in
Detroit.
Detroit, right?
She delivered too.
Say the name one more time. Say the name one more time.
It's Zar Zarjay two words catering.
Cool. Zar J. Catering.
And so
that's another one. So there you go.
These salads is all cold. She cook and she don't use nothing cheap. Everything she uses, But then people will want to holler, oh, she charged too much. You getting quality food and you getting a lot. My mama said she ate off $2 days off of the stuff.
$12 is a lot of money for food.
Right. I'm like,
you ain't gotta cook.
You ain't gotta cook for 2 days. That's how much she give you.
Like $12 ain't really a lot of money for food. I know a young lady that I'm not gonna say her name. I ain't gonna ask her if I could, or whatever. But I know she do the same thing. She cook like I think 2 or 3 days a week food before. But I mean, I be looking at those plates. I be like, man, that look good.
Yep.
I mean,
that's my cousin does. She showed a video her prepping the food, so she clean. Her cleaning down. I mean, so it's right. I mean, it's top notch. But like I said, if I had money, I'll be buying this restaurant and she'll be cooking it.
And that was the other reason why I'm not going to necessarily. I haven't talked to her about saying her name on here. And then the other thing is, I ain't never ate the food before, so I don't want to necessarily. It's good because a lot of people be on the thing like, "Hey, hook me up with this, hook me up with that."
Mm-hmm.
But just reading some of her posts, I can see that she has the same problems where, black people don't want to pay her, or they'll call and tell her, hey, I want this, and then pick up the food. All types of dumb stuff, man. Like, but you don't do that when, you don't do that to Detroit seafood, or you don't go down to the seafood market and do that. If you order something from there, you're gonna pick it up and you're gonna make sure you got it. But you do that to your own, and that's what I'm saying. That love, man, we got to stop. We got to love one another because, like I said, nobody else is going. We will love ourselves. So, hey, man, I appreciate you for getting on here tonight.
All right,
got a long way to go, man. We got a long way to go. We like I said,
Donald Trump said black folks, black community in the worst shape ever in history. So we got a long way to move away from him.
The thing is that he talking about we in the worst shape ever, and we ain't never really been in a good shape. I mean, the only time we really was in a good shape was when we had the Black Wall Streets in the Rosewoods in the
east side of
Black
Detroit.
Bottom,
Yeah, the east side of Detroit.
Black Bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
When we had the Black Bottoms, we had the Harlems. That's the only time we actually, but they found ways to destroy those communities. And of course, when you don't have a community, when you don't have your own businesses, when you don't have where you can go to your own and actually patronize your own, you just can't. You gonna be in a bad shape, and that's not our fault. That's America's fault. America didn't want us to be that way, and people can say what they want to say about, stop blaming the white man. I'm not blaming the white man. I'm blaming the white system. The white system that has it that way, because we do our own thing, and it still again was a whole nother problem with that. So we got to figure out, like I said, we just got to figure out a way to love ourselves and start our own businesses and patronize each other, just like we patronize McDonald's or Walmart. I'm going to Walmart like every day. I go to Walmart. If I don't go to Walmart after 10 o'clock at night, I'm gonna be in line for at least 20 minutes.
Right.
At least, huh?
Right, I agree.
Yeah, at least that's at the least you're gonna be in line for 20 minutes. If you don't go after 10 o'clock, you got to go after like sometimes 11, 12 o'clock when they stocking and ain't nobody there. You got to go in because you're gonna be in line for 20 minutes talking about sitting there, and they got people walking around with blue vests on. But you know what happens? We still go back tomorrow,
right?
And the next day. But if you went to a black business and had to stay in the line for 20 minutes, you're gonna be mad.
You're done.
You're gonna be mad.
Yeah,
and
sure. We don't
I'm
need
talking about myself too.
Black. We act like that even with anything that ain't major. If you go to anything small, we believe that you just gotta support big. Like you go to Walmart, you cool with long lines. But let that be a small business, local business. You like, I don't know why they ain't got enough people working here. Why Walmart don't got enough people working there? They're a major conglomerate.
Walmart have enough people. Walmart just decides that they're not gonna have the people on the register.
Right. I'm like, come on, dog.
Walmart just don't have cashiers. Everybody be walking the floor.
Yeah, everybody walking around talking some. What you doing? I'm eating my coffee. It's my time for my morning coffee. I'm like, nah, man, for real. Are you serious, yo? Let me do it like the people here. Are you serious, yo?
Yeah. But we all got to get better. Shoot, I did that to a business. About 2 years ago, I did that. I went and the girl, and it was a long line, and I was sitting there, and the girl kind of like, she said something real funky to me, and I was like, you know what? But it was never my plan not to go back to the business. I just ain't been back because I ain't been back home. So I mean, I've been back home, but I ain't had, when I go back home, I ain't never thought about going back up there. Like I was meeting a couple people, and I was like, no, we ain't got to sit up here and wait for this forever. We're gonna be up here for 2 hours waiting to eat. And the lady got an attitude, but I still plan on going to the business. I don't want to say opportunity with it.
I'm equal opportunity. I'm like, they don't treat me right. I don't care. I ain't coming back. But I do agree that I gotta be able to get a local, the black business a little second chance. But I'm like, man.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I say we gotta
really like that with big business. I'm like, I ain't coming back here.
Yeah, the only reason I say we gotta be able to give them a second chance is because we always give Walmart a second chance. I know. I mean, Walmart always. I hate to say it. I mean, I don't hate to say it. Walmart be fucking up. So you go in there and you be in there forever, and I'll be like, But you go back because they got everything. You can do everything right there in that one spot. And all I'm saying is, at some point, we got to figure out a way, as black people, to have our own businesses like that. Hey, we signing out. What's the What Show? Thank y'all. We'll be back next week. Holla.